All right, this is the Space Marines 5 matchup from September 28th. We got the red team here. Looking for like a...
Dude. I was not ready for that.
Didn't you say you watched this yesterday?
I told you I was so high. I did not.
Oh my gosh.
Josiah started watching it while I was in the kitchen, and I came over like while the game was already in play. So I did not see this.
I had to pause and look at all the pictures too.
I tried to Facebook stalk Joey and find a picture of him to put on here. Everyone else was Facebook stalkable, but Joey keeps his information well hidden. And I had to take a screenshot of him. Is this a screen grab
from the game, dude?
Yes, it's from the game. So Joey, if you're watching this, I love you and I'm sorry. Please send me a picture of yourself.
No, dude, this is beautiful.
And this week I plan to try to get a picture of everybody wearing a white ref vest, so that'll be a little better.
A little consistency.
Yeah, a little consistency. But for this first test run, this is the fire team. 5 humans and what looks like a character from Rayman's Raving Rabbids.
Oh my goodness.
Hello, Aiden.
Aiden, you joining us? What's up, Aiden?
Hello.
Yes. Aiden, we are in the middle of watching one of our members' night games, and we're gonna put this commentary up if you want to join us.
Can I join and be quiet?
Yeah, you don't have to commentate. You can throw in anytime you want to speak.
Is Autumn asleep? Okay, yes.
All right, just do whatever you want. We love you. Okay, so anyway, this is the fire team. Gentlemen, do you have any thoughts on this lineup?
They do be members.
They are members, yes.
Particularly for me, it looked super scary.
Yeah. Well, what's scary about it?
Aside from having 4 A-team players on it, Joe and Josiah 3-hit was not looking exciting for me.
I think it's a really good synergy there.
Yeah.
Joe tends to play like, look, we've seen Joe.
They're opposites.
At tournament. No, we've seen Joe at tournaments, and he can whip it out. He can sprint all around the arena and get the 10, 12K commander games if he chooses. But I think his bread and butter is like territory control.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like play style wise, they're opposites.
Well, I don't know that Josiah Bagel at this point in his career is the hyper aggressive attack type of commander. I think he's really strategic about where he places himself on the map. True. So between the two, I think yeah. With this lineup, I think Bagel would have to be more aggressive.
This is a very let me put it this way. This is a very mature looking lineup that I knew was going to challenge everything that I've ever learned.
Yes, I agree. Oh, what I noticed, like, Loki tends to be more of a backline sniper, or he'll go behind you. He's not usually charging the enemy lines.
Yeah.
Joey, or the table flip guy, long ago he was one of the absolute best Space Marines at the site. I'm relearning what his play style is now. But if he's not super aggressive, I think Bagel would have to be. Right.
But just like, aside from Judah, everybody on this team is a seasoned vet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We have Bagel himself here on this call. Do you have any thoughts?
Well,
his face sums it up pretty well.
The idea was Joe played really well in West Coast, and as a heavy, he really challenged a lot of really good people to do very little, you know, like they had to do so much just to like get a couple inches, you know. Mm-hmm. And
You
I
made
wanted
some
to
pretty
see.
big beefers work.
Well, I wanted to see like what John was doing and stuff like that, and so like he was a really good bar to set, you know. And as far as heavies go, usually like
He's what, Josiah?
I think he's easily top 5 heavies at our site.
I completely agree.
Like
There's a reason I'm laughing at that usually that he slipped in there, and you're gonna see why.
I think it's. I just want to say that. It always sucks when this is an excuse, but it seemed like his pack was misfiring multiple times during this game, which is not excuse. It doesn't mean that whatever happened, like, doesn't matter.
Right.
But
yeah, he
like,
mentioned his gun wasn't working, and that does factor into it.
I think you can see it a few times when we watch this, but just give Sergeant Tucker a little grace in that when we watch this.
Joe, I know you're watching this. I'm not trying to be mean, dude. Josiah and I were super high watching this, and it was very funny, some of the comments that he was making.
What do you guys think of the resupply?
I think it looks good. Judah is awesome.
I like playing resupply with Judah, dude.
Yeah, Judoku.
One of my best
debut
4v4s ever was Judah and I resub.
Well, so the point of that I was trying to make is that Joe is a really good benchmark to see like where specifically Slade and John are as far as like playing 3 hits and whether or not they can actually like punch through Joe, you know?
Right.
If they can't, you know, that answers all sorts of questions. If they can, that answers all sorts of questions. But then we also get to see like how the scouts are abusing people, you know, and like you can see a lot of things from this team, a lot of basic mistakes that won't be made, you know.
Yeah,
that's kind of the idea.
Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna continue unless anyone else have any other thoughts.
Yeah, this has been enjoyable.
All right, then. Earth Team.
Oh yeah, we got to get a new one in there.
No, it's perfect.
No, we got to update that.
For the record, that is Dr. Feelgood's resting facial expression. That's his normal face.
Dude, what do you got going on with the pencil stash down there?
That is not me. That is Jarrett's dad.
Okay.
He's a 45-year-old redneck.
He likes himself some Budweiser for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Updated pics coming soon, but thoughts on the Earth Team?
Yeah, James is about 10 years older now.
Also not as easily Facebook stalkable.
Yeah, he's kind of a ghost, actually. I'm glad Sammy touched her Facebook though. Otherwise, you would have been SOL on that one.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that was like, and like people younger than like 25 usually don't have Facebook now, so that was kind of like,
I know, it's becoming our MySpace. Isn't that weird?
Yeah, seriously.
I think it's because of metaverse integration. Like everybody just has Instagram now, and it's the same thing.
I guess.
Yeah, no, I was this lineup across the board, I was very excited to play. I was excited to play with John. I was excited to play against the fire team. I was excited to see how Sammy and Ben were going to do as my resub, and they blew me away, honestly. I was very impressed with the both of them, especially amidst my my intensity that night. I don't know what was going on, but I was frothing at the mouth that night.
I think we gave you that one hard loss at the beginning, and it just amped you up the rest of the night.
Yeah, I had a path to go down. I could have spiraled, or I could have made sure it never happened again, and I definitely made sure it didn't happen again.
Yeah. So
And I was
this is
excited to play with you, dude. My
Oh, yeah,
scout
totally.
buddy.
I'm back.
He's back, dude.
Yeah. I'm so glad to be playing Scout, at least in this game.
Yeah.
I think if I had a chance to choose whatever role I wanted in a tournament, I love Scout.
Yeah,
Scout's fun.
I was very excited to have you as my
So-
scout.
Well, I was excited to play with you two because you're both really excited to play 3 hits.
Mhm.
And you're eager to prove yourselves, and you've been up and coming. Well, you're not up and coming anymore. You're you're our top players now. You're some of them.
I'm there, dude.
So, I mean, we put Dr. Feelgood through the fire heavy on the B team in West Coast back in March, and like here's the cool thing about this game is that Dr. Feelgood and Sergeant Tucker were both playing heavy in West Coast. And much love to the teams they were playing with, but when you played against the higher ranked teams, it was a lot of them carrying the team.
It was a
doing
whole lot of
the
backpack,
fighting.
dude.
Dr. Feelgood would put up a 9K heavy game every few games. Like, you were both being really challenged, so both of them had to go against each other this game.
Yeah,
And
West
Simply
Coast
Okay,
changed me as a
which
person.
actually it's actually at Simply Okay, not Simply Okay. But he he played a lot of commander for the hybrid A team, which wasn't the full A lineup, but he was really being challenged as well. So, like, we've known that you two are actual good friends. You have good synergy.
Yeah,
So
John and I can
I
play
thought-
anything together, whether it be 3-hit scout or resupply. Him and
It's true.
I jive on everything.
it's true. You were both the resupply at our most recent fake tents.
Syracuse
Yep.
shutters.
So, I mean, from my perspective, this was exciting. I knew you're both going to be aggressive players, and my thought was I'm going to try to be crossfiring with them the whole time. It's funny, you hardly see me in the video until like we're chasing them downstairs because I was just in some obscure location taking shots at them. And Hamez, dude, M1A Abrams. I think I'm gonna be honest. I think in the matchmaking, he was underestimated.
Oh, he always is, dude.
Dude,
James is our
he's-
sleeper.
He's tall. He's jacked. He's handsome.
He's
So this wasn't an underestimation. I actually really wanted to give, when I made these teams, I really wanted to give John and Dylan good scouts and solid resupplies to really give them a foundation to see what they can do, you know, and then to put them against a team that's just not really going to make any mistakes, you know, like not like glaring, like, oh, like you just like
rookie mistakes.
Where we're gonna make them carry us out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
No rookie mistakes being made on either team in this matchup.
No, I was actually super impressed with Fire Team at a certain point. But yeah, you include the resupplies in that?
Oh, absolutely. So we've been kind of reevaluating how we're going to be doing A team and B team functions from now on. And as far as James, Sammy, Ben, and a few other people, as far as they go, they're really making a strong case for wanting to be on the A or the B team, you know? So like
Yeah.
there's tons of ways that we need to start being a little bit more considerate of who's around us, you know?
Totally. Yeah, I wanted your thoughts. I don't think the resupply in this match were something to sneeze at either.
No.
We know how good Raiden GL is. He's a longtime vet, and I'm impressed with not only his resupply game but his scout heavy and commander game recently as well.
Ben's an OG, dude.
You know he's consistent, and I know that Azra has been around for about 6 weeks, is what I understand. But since I just moved back, she's completely fresh to me.
Right.
So I was still gauging where she's at, and I've been highly impressed.
Sammy's a beast, dude.
So I thought this was a good spot for her to be in. I think she was consistent as well.
I tell her after every game, I'm always glad that she's on my team.
Yeah,
because like she challenges me when she's on the other team.
Her yelling well.
Well, not only is she mature enough to like handle me in meltdown mode and not take it personally, but she's just a good player.
Yeah,
like she's a challenge on the enemy team, and she's an asset on my team.
And so far, we haven't seen Sammy hit meltdown mode. That gives us hope that we have someone who is not going to have a rage baby.
Dude.
We got another Troy.
Fingers crossed.
A Loveland player that doesn't melt down.
They exist, man. I'm telling you. We got Zenless, Loki, Feeder, and now Azra.
It's all we've ever needed.
If we can get 2 more and bring some of them out of retirement.
We can call them the Vibes.
The Vibe team. The V team.
Any final thoughts on Earth's team before we get into it?
Looks good.
Buckle up.
All right.
After this game, I would like to talk about John. We didn't talk about John, but I want to save it for after the game because John speaks for himself.
Yeah. There will be a pause on the winning team screen, and we'll talk about what happened to that game. Who were the main players? All right. Here we go. All right, teams are lining up here. Solid run up the top. There's something I'm really confused about here. It's when we go to Dylan's POV. Dylan, why were you looking behind right there?
Somebody was calling that there was that Joey was behind us.
That's not your responsibility. There's a Joe in front of you.
Well, nobody else was dealing with it, so.
But you handled it.
But I still shot Joe, so shut up. And it will not be the last time I shoot Joe either.
So both 3 hits. All right, that's a good push in from Dr. Feelgood on the resupplies. But Judoku shot him down. Sergeant Tucker trying to deal with both 3 hits. He's kind of holding the chamber while I think John's up there. And here comes Bagel with his bases. He's almost out of full nuke. The green 3 hits have kind of taken over the top floor, and the red team's kind of stuck in the closet. Sergeant Tucker at 7 lives.
Hit him with the old John special, dude.
Azra's down to 5 lives right now. It looks like she's getting kind of beat up, but so is Sergeant Tucker. He really needs to find some stabilization.
She's coming up the ramp now, so she's safe. I think she was on the first. No, she told me she was on the first floor trying to get her bases. She just got her ass shot off.
Yeah. She did not get the bases. -160. So not the greatest start, but it's all right. You got her and Ben up into the fun box.
Yeah, we got them safe.
Red team's pushed onto the ramp, and I know part of that is because I had taken the switchback and was just making it hard for anyone to stay up there. But Sergeant Tucker kind of retakes the closet. He's doing a good job just holding territory. Raiden GL at 15 lives and Judoku at 15. So both medics are actually
on the
even
ramp
right
now. Because they're still just hanging out on that blue ramp.
Let's see, John's in. John's shooting everybody right now. He missiles Joe. Excellent play by Simply Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bagel comes in, takes him out.
He just shot 10 people, basically.
Yeah. Sergeant Tucker at 4 lives right now. He's playing dangerously low, trying to just get his team out there to get back in the game. They have no territory.
3 lives,
no space
40 points.
On the top floor.
He could drop.
Yeah.
Dude, if John nuked right there, it would have been a even quicker game.
Okay.
But we were fine.
Just getting resupplied. It's Dr. Feelgood kind of looking down. You can see they're all right beneath you. You come down. What was your thought process coming down the ramp there?
To make them scared.
Kind of just put the pressure on them.
Yeah, let them know they weren't safe.
See, at this point, like, your team's getting totally full.
And that was the other thing too. I was just kind of harassing them to give them something to do while my team got loaded.
Yeah, they're just pumping doubles into your team, so this is setting up for the long game.
Exactly.
And Bagel's pushing up from the switchback, but he's dealing with both Simply Okay and Jarrett's dad, that guy.
Yeah.
That guy.
That weirdo.
Who keeps making trails and trying to basically annoy the crap out of you.
He's so tall
I know, and handsome.
and handsome.
Well, here they come, dude. Get out of there.
Yeah, Raiden GL hasn't lost a life since I last mentioned that. Jidoku's only lost 2 though, so it's really not. It's really just a lull right now. Both teams are trying to get a little more filled. But just having the total control of second and third floor, green team's getting a lot more momentum. Also, the only people I hear are really on the green team. There's a lot more communication going on.
Yeah. Josiah and I mentioned that last night when we were talking.
Oh, wow. You just totally ramped past Sergeant Tucker.
Yeah,
Which seems like a jerk move, but that was a good move.
I wasn't going to let him do what he was about to do, for sure.
Oh, yeah. He knew.
Mm-hmm. He actually conceded when I ran up to the top with him. He backed off.
Yeah, I think so. He could have ran back up there, though, and stood in the middle of the team. That would have been the move.
He could have, and then just not shot me, but he realized I meant business.
Yeah. Team's trying to float back up here. Yeah, Dr. Feelgood shot down, but you had eyes on the whole team there for a sec.
Yeah, that's me screaming that they're all on the ramp to John, trying to get him to come up.
Sergeant Tucker's going off. Kind of putting some points back on the board.
John's nuking in the fun box.
Nuke. Ouch, the double. Look at the lives on the red team.
All single digit.
Green has more than double the lives. Bagel only has 3 special points.
Got a dream though.
And like
3 specials and a dream, dude.
What would red need to do right now to get back in this game?
This game is over.
Think so, straight up?
Yeah, at this point in time, the first minute of the game, when they committed to sitting on second floor in the manner that they were, without responding to John absolutely pooping on everybody, there was just nothing to be done. But that speaks to how well they were keeping us contained in a specific area, right? Just making it so that we were strangled as a barrel.
Ooh, James takes out Sergeant Tucker.
In the back.
And then I just saw both of you standing in the
followed
open.
it up.
You were both... I don't blame them.
John
they were looking in every
again.
direction, just trying to figure out what
Josiah
they were supposed to do.
is done.
Yep.
This game is over.
It's very over. Yeah. It's hard. I mean,
He's
there's a world
unimpressed.
where you could make a plan where you like, okay, we're just gonna guard the bases, but even without bases, we are way outscoring you.
We would have to use every single shot we have without you guys responding at all and basically standing in a line to basically get through 100 lives in 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
There's nothing to be
Because
done.
we're outscoring them, and they have all their bases too. Like, that's something to keep in mind as
Sergeant
well.
Tucker needs his base, but yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
It would have to be an elim in order to win at this point.
For the record,
with the
I
point
think that was
discrepancy.
Yeah. Yep, just managing the game right now. Half the team needs their bases, but
Sweeping up, dude.
There's nothing to.
Red's just trying to stabilize, keep people with lives. James being a beacon of communication and hope for his team. Ouch, another missile from Simply Okay into Sergeant Tucker. I do wonder what would have happened if some of the early trades went Sergeant Tucker's way. If his pack really was kind of acting up, it might have just been a little harder to push the team off.
I don't know if there was anything going on with his pack. I'd never heard him complain about it at all. But I don't know. I don't know what his hit diff was this game either. I don't know how many times he was getting shot. But when you're heavy, physically can't shoot people because they're just getting shot constantly, they lose 20 points every single time they get tagged, right? So Joe's score isn't really it. I don't know how accurate it is based on how much he's actually doing, right? Because both of the scouts are 6,000 points basically, right? 7,100, 5,900. We lived though, nerds.
You lived. Loki comes in clutch.
Troy lived. You didn't live.
Second on his team.
None of that wee shit.
Oh. It's a team game, buddy. There's always a we in team.
Sure.
All right.
Welcome.
What happened?
Welcome.
Welcome.
And there's the final score. That's probably more useful to keep up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't really know what was going on. I can only speak for myself as far as what the
third floor once.
We made a couple pushes and we got on site, but we never were able to take control of what was going on.
Yeah.
And a big part of that was Luke and James just standing on the second floor wherever we were moving around and just shooting us. And I don't know if a lot of people were specifically looking at the way that Luke and James were just surrounding us, but that is some prime time stuff right there. That's the sauce. That's the tasty juice right there.
It's that good.
That's the good. They both got rapid fire, just blasting them. Yeah, there's nothing they can do.
Well, I can say from my perspective, I have a 7K score, but I really should have a 5K if you y'all just kept turning your back on me, and I just kept popping out of that one spot over and over again. Because the green team, it became a 2-on-1 against Sergeant Tucker with both the 3 hits taking third. So Sergeant Tucker had to retreat to the closet, and your team never got out of the closet / the ramp / the downstairs. I mean, it was just the meta in motion. Green team took top and never ceded it.
He made, so in the very beginning, Joe ran across third floor, right?
Yes.
That is a very aggressive decision, that is okay, I'm going to give you a choice, you're either going to be crazy enough to run towards my resupply, or
which Dr. Feelgood was, or I'm going to just stand here and eventually one of us is going to leave because it's going to go bad, And so it gets kind of weird when you do those kind of really early rushes.
To answer your question, Luke, the reason I fucking turned around and looked at Joey is because he shot me in the back.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, he put me down because they were screaming, "Joey's on the ramp." And at first, I was in your mindset. That's not my problem. I have 4 teammates behind me. Deal with the scout. And then the scout shot me in the back 3 times, and I said, "Okay, that's not going to continue." And then I shot him, and then I shot Joe, and then I took the 3rd floor. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
I was
Okay,
like, fucking
play
hello.
Of the game. Play of the game from table flip. John saved your butt.
No, literally.
Okay.
And that is
Wow,
where Joe lost.
I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
No, it was crazy. Are you fucking kidding me? I was like, there's no way.
It was just like, huh?
I'm gonna have to ask him how he even did that.
That was Pikachu faced for sure.
I felt like the big turnaround for Green was just like their scouts were a lot more active than Red scouts. What Green team was doing was
I didn't see
slow.
Troy like hardly at all.
No.
That's why I'm saying like they were a lot more active, because what me and Luke were doing, we were just circling them like sharks of where I was
guys
constantly
fishing a barrel
on first
the whole
floor.
team.
Yeah, because as you can see, I've already gone downstairs. I've already gotten my bases. I just went straight across, and
And you have 8
first
fucking
floor.
tags. Like,
Yeah,
it
was just because people never expect you to stay downstairs, and then when they get pushed
Right.
downstairs, you're just met with them, and I'm just like, all right. But when we got cluttered in Funbox, I was like, all right, I just need to take 2 and then leave.
Yeah, which is,
We need it.
and that right there is is one of the things that makes you a great scout, is that kind of assessment to be like, I am needed elsewhere. Like, I need doubles, but I also need to not be here more than I need doubles.
Yeah.
And so you took your double, and then you left until I was good, and then you came back in. Because what killed me in West Coast was my scouts not understanding that and resetting me to death.
It was sort of also a communication part, because I was communicating with John halfway through the match. I yelled out to him, "What's the plan?" And he was like, "Hold 3rd." And he was like, "Hold 3rd." And I was like, all right, I'm just going to get full, and then we're just going to stay here.
Yeah.
And then the second John was just like, Josiah's dead, last 10 seconds, I was like, okay, where is Troy? And we couldn't find Troy. And I was like,
No, I couldn't find Troy all game.
I feel like
Joey was way more annoying than Troy was, which is weird. Because usually Loki is my fucking kryptonite. Like,
it's because
There he is right there.
Yeah, there he is right
Right.
there. It's because what I think Joey was doing is every time Joey would appear, Joey would always back up Josiah and would always like make him win the trades on
which
John.
is one of the scouts' jobs for sure.
Yeah, so
But
he was
what I'm saying is that Joey was annoying me way more, and Joey was not a problem for me. Aside from that first 30 seconds where he killed me.
I beg to differ.
Yeah, I was about to say
He got those shots on me, and that shit was over.
I was like, oh no.
No,
I had enough.
Yeah, but Joey is definitely still knocking the rest off.
Yeah.
So like I wasn't really concerned with him.
I felt like what Troy,
And he was still doing more than Troy, which is weird.
I felt like what Troy's issue in that match was each time Troy gets in a position that he likes or a position that he wants, he just stays there. And because of what me and Luke were doing, he couldn't really find a groove that he could work with, because he was on the move constantly, because we pushed them downstairs, then they retook second, then they went down, and Troy really couldn't find a groove, and everybody was just sort of flipping the table that Troy was just sitting on, and Troy just couldn't keep balance, I feel like.
Well, I think you and I had all the good spots, so to speak. Like, he would have had to come and take big box
Yeah,
and switch back from us.
Yeah, it's because mainly John really kept the pressure, and so we had a lot more breathing room. But I will
It's
admit,
true.
the strat that I did at the first is kind of ambitious because usually what you want to do is send 2 scouts up at the start. But me going across and me getting my bases and me like holding first is sort of leaving my
You
team.
banked on us shoving them downstairs, and we did. So it was a
Yeah.
gamble that paid off.
Yeah, so it's like it's ambitious, but I had full confidence in you, Luke and John. I had full ambition that like you guys were gonna win the fight. I obviously
Yeah.
knew that if you and Joe were gonna have the stare off, I knew that it was just gonna be a matter of time before John was just gonna be like, "All right, Helmets, just push," and I
Right.
was just gonna be in.
And
a
that's the other thing
nuisance.
too, is like you were listening for John to see what we actually needed. You weren't gonna just stay downstairs if that's not what you needed to do.
Yeah, because the 2 plays that I saw in my mind was I stay downstairs and I just constantly peg them in the back and do little to nothing, or I completely just circle them like a shark of where I'll go up, I'll be up, and I'll get a few tags in, and I won't get downed, and I'll go downstairs and like lure them, and then the second they take the bait, I'll go back upstairs. That was the 2 options I was presented with, and I was like, I guess I just bank on the fact that Dr. Feelgood's and Simply Okay just go nuts and then just push them out. And that's what happened because Slade won the heavy fight and then John capitalized off it and then they had to push downstairs. I was met with both the resupplies and I was like, okay, they're both down. Let's just be a nuisance to them. And that's where Troy really suffered because Troy needed doubles and I was just being a nuisance to them. So it's what I feel like the scout's job is not necessarily to always push in, run in head first, and get lives taken off you. Because, yes, that's a good thing. You may get a couple tags, but you're immediately getting down. I feel like the scout's job is mainly just to circle and just like tag, go to a new position, tag, go to a new position, tag, go to a new position, and just circle them like a vulture or shark almost. And I feel like that's where I feel comfortable because I know that they're gonna expect me here, so I'm gonna go this way. So
I think bits of that are really situational, you know, and I think the reason you guys were able to play that way is because John was putting on such a big show, dude. It nothing that went on during that game would have been happening if John was not playing as well as he was playing. And he was only able to play as well as he was playing because you guys were also like giving him the room to do that, right?
Right.
And so like when you're thinking about a team
It was like
game,
a greater than the sum of its parts kind of deal.
right, when you're thinking about a team game, it's not really about like how many jobs you have. It's about how well you're sticking to the plan and how well you are holding up your end of like the table or whatever you imagine your team is lifting, right? And so when you see John is like just blowing everything up because like he 3-chains, you know, like he sets all of us into single digit lives and scores 10,000 points in a 10-minute game because he just is crazy, right?
and like right here, right where Luke's paused is it perfectly depictates of what Josiah's saying because obviously you can see that 2 scouts, I believe it's me and Luke, just
Yeah, you can
looking
see
at
Luke's
Joe.
Where we were all
10-foot tall
game
ass at the bottom of the fucking switchback, still shooting
No, that's
them in the
me
closet.
because Luke stayed in big box the entire time, and Luke
Oh,
was
is
just
that
fighting
you?
them in. Yeah, I was mainly
Both.
on switchback,
Yeah.
and Luke was mainly in big box.
You're also 10
I
feet
thought it
tall.
was the other way around, but yeah, we're both. This is where we both were all.
Yeah,
game,
and we were
basically.
just giving Joe the death stare of if Joe peeks up, we're gonna tag him, and they're essentially we're making their coffin.
This
And-
is these guys in the closet are definitely exclamation mark right now, for sure.
Yeah, and it's like because you can see on the
Alerted.
scoreboard that John's already won the trade with Josiah, John's won the trade with Josiah already, and so he's given us breathing room to do it, and so have you. So you guys worked in unison, and the second you guys backed off, Joe immediately rushed up, knowing
I
you
was
were
not
gonna
giving
rush
him
up.
that, dude.
Yeah.
I
immediately-
refused.
You sort of had to play pass by, bro. You two were
You're still
shoulder to shoulder.
sprinting.
It seems kind of like a rude move, kind of pushing past other people. But
Well, I
like,
felt
yeah,
a little
most
dirty,
we have-
but I didn't. But I'm not sorry either.
we have
No, it's been happening to us.
I was-
It's just part of the tournament play.
No,
Well-
literally, fucking Joe does that exact thing to me all the time.
well, that's why it was a smush, right?
I
And
was
it-
about to say, yeah.
because pushing past each other is like that's part of the game. Whoever has better acceleration gets the path, right?
And it was
Yeah,
Slade in this
you don't
case.
push them, but you
Yeah, like I'm
make
not
it-
like
you make it look good
shoving him
for
out
the
of the
rep.
way, but I'm also not letting him have that resupply chain.
I was about
Yeah.
to say, yeah. It's sort of how I analyze this is sort of just they have the same plan of where Joe's gonna wrestle resupplies and Slade is not gonna let that happen.
Yeah,
But in the mere moment
Because
that they do, they
pre
both
West
execute
Coast
it.
Slade would have let that happen, and I think that's who Joe thought he was fighting.
No, he's trying to make his own plays
I was
too.
about
It
to
wasn't
say, yeah.
about like underestimating you. He needed to try.
I was
No,
about
for
to say,
sure.
yeah.
I mean, there's a world where he shoves you out of the way too.
I was about to say, yeah, and they're all stuck on the ramp here, and then Joe is just completely out of the fight right now because he's too busy dealing with me. Because obviously, I don't know, you can rewind or not, but you can obviously see that I've obviously been winning the trades against him. I'm sort of keeping him shoved out because he's in Fun Box, and he's trying to keep Sammy going on.
Sammy
And
with
you
the
c-
carry, dude.
You can obviously see that. Oh no, never mind. I'm right there. I'm staring Bromley down. Never
Yeah,
mind.
you
I'm
and Brom-
stupid.
Bromley is 3 inches from death right now.
I was about to say. I knew you were backing me up, and I was like, okay, I don't know how many are here, but we're just gonna go.
We're
And
gonna
I
get
just sort of looked at Bromley. Bromley looked at me, and I was like, all right, we're gonna see how this plays out.
Hey, you come here often?
And yeah,
And then I
so
looked over the
Wall
ramp
and
and I was
found
like,
Josiah.
oh shit,
There's a lot.
that's
See
all of
with the
them.
jump shots. It's cool.
So now I'm just waiting for my lights to come back on.
Yeah,
Bonk.
bonk. And then
And this is the point where I shout for John to come up their ramp, which
yeah.
John promptly does.
Yeah, because you don't see it, but me and Sammy both peek up at the same time, so we're both gonna get one shot into Joe,
Yeah.
and then the nuke goes off, and John just goes ballistic at this point because you get reset chains, I get reset chains,
Yeah.
and then John just sort of gets full.
Bonk. I shot Judah. Bonk.
yeah.
I shot Joe.
That was a big mistake for them staying in closet because the second Yeah.
Joe does this thing where when stuff is going poorly, he refuses to concede territory because he feels like if he does, it's an automatic loss, whereas he might have a chance like continuing to play from where he is. That's what it feels like when I play against him anyway.
And maybe in this moment, like it was a mistake, but at the same time, as
It's a gamble
what you
that
do-
usually pays
what
off
you
for
do,
him.
you are like losing. You know you're losing. It's
Yeah,
like
I gotta make
you could go-
I gotta make something happen
it's like a Hail Mary maybe.
for sure.
Like going downstairs would keep you alive longer, but you need to win the game. So
Right.
maybe Josiah can make a big play. and
It's
you
a
can
roll
stay
the
in
dice.
Closet.
uh-huh.
And
And
unfortunately,
closet
my
ready to
boy
cap-
Joe got snake eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't blame him for it because obviously the state of the scoreboard right now is John's already nuked. Everybody's
bad,
at triple
dude.
dividends.
Joe has 800 points and I have 3,000. Like, it's just not good.
So it's sort of just a split-second decision that Joe makes, and Joe's just like, "Yep, we're gonna stick to this decision," and they get punished for it because just before that moment, John is immediately taking aggression to that because you downed Josiah. John's just like, "Okay, I'm gonna come up in like 2 seconds and tag him." Sammy puts one in him, and he's immediately lost the fight. And Joe's was like, "All right, we need to go downstairs." Because I felt like Joe was gambling on the fact that Josiah was gonna down.
I don't know what he was
John.
doing. And from the heavy position particularly, Joe does this thing where he can't hear anybody else. So even when his resupplies are telling him we need to go downstairs or this closet is bad or we need to do something else, he's too busy trying to shoot me.
Before we drag out criticisms, the reason that this team was made was to evaluate where certain players on the enemy team are specifically, and also where some of the players on a couple of the other players on our team. Some of the players we were looking at were John, Simply Okay, Dr. Feelgood, M1A1 Abrams. M1A Abrams, sorry.
It's okay.
My brain auto-corrected me. I don't know what that
Doesn't the A
was.
stand for Abrams?
The A stands for armor,
Oh,
and
Gotcha.
Abrams is the body type.
yeah.
But it's okay. I get why this team was constructed, because Joe let us know ahead of time that this team is going to be constructed and this night is going to be John, Joe, and you both said this at the beginning of the night, even when I came in here, that this night is meant for evaluating different players.
Yeah.
And whether it be evaluating me, evaluating yourselves, it's meant for the experienced players to sort of see where everybody is at and see where their selves are at.
Well,
So I completely
here's what we found. Okay, utilizing our benchmark of Joe's really good at the game, Sergeant Tucker. We discovered
he is.
John is really good at the game. He can make Joe focus on him. He can make Joe have to work on dealing with John. Dr. Feelgood does the same. And we saw really good plays out of the scouts capitalizing off of what their team was doing. And so these are I didn't really get to see too much of what the resupply was doing, but I assume they didn't miss a lot of doubles.
No, they were great.
No, they were on point. They were really in sync with each other.
I mainly
Yeah,
needed shots,
I think-
and Sammy was giving me shots.
Yep. Yep. I think the name of the game with the just watching these is trying to just uplift certain players. And I will say, I came up to Josiah after this game and I said, I feel like if you really wanted to push me out of my territory, you could have. And I just, after watching Sergeant Tucker and Bagel in tournaments past, maybe this is a false accusation. I don't know that it was 100%. I don't know that they were trying their absolute hardest to whoop us. I feel like there was a world where they would have whooped us. Maybe some plays were being made,
Maybe.
but I didn't see a whole lot of sprinting and screaming, which is, I know, something they're both highly capable of.
I think it's situations call for specific things, and when you move really fast and there's a lot of guns pointed at wherever you are, you get shot a lot. You get shot more actually when you're running fast versus moving slow.
Yeah.
And so when you are behind, it is more important to play safely, in my opinion, than it is to run in and die a bunch.
Okay.
But that's
I'm just
subjective.
saying this team is great.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. And I thought I'm really commending the collectedness when you were pushed, that you all collected on the ramp
Yeah.
and tried to get back in the game that way.
You guys never gave up or melted down once.
No, it was a very.
No.
We made a lot of small maneuvering mistakes, and it got us caught in some weird positions. And I don't know if you know this about weird positions, but usually the person who's attacking has a lot of advantage.
Like, another personal note, there was never a time of where I had breathing room when I was facing you guys, because every time I would try and recollect my thoughts and try and speak to John, I would get one word out and then immediately a push would happen. I'm just like, all right.
Well, resupplies were really good for us. The fire team resupply, Judoku specifically, is someone we've been keeping our eye on because we believe that the younger generation of people that want to play laser tag are important.
Absolutely.
And he has been making ridiculous amounts of improvement since he first started. He's already played a tournament, and he's looking to go to St. George, so we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on this game? I think we should probably wrap it up soon.
Fire team needs to get good.
That's the person on fire team.
Yeah.
That face says it all.
Just when Luke was explaining, like when he went up to you after the game, that face was just you listening to Jarrett's dad just telling you like, "Hey, you did this wrong," and you're just like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah."
Bro, I could beat you with one hand tied behind my back.
If you had one-handed.
Yep.
We did have one-handed.
We all did.
Yeah. Look at that.
Well,
All right.
this was fun. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll wrap it up and work on the formula and try to do another one of these next week for anybody who happens to want to jump in.
That
It
was
may or may not
that was
be
such a moist
spontaneous.
critical send off. So yeah,
Yup.
that's about it.
That's about it.
Vid video.
Okay.
Bye.
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 Bye.